Hey guys, how's it going? Today's project, we're going to get into the Honda riding lawnmower, garden tractor, whatever you want to call it, that I picked up at a yard sale, actually for free about a week ago. And the previous owner believes that it had jumped time with the timing belt. It wasn't like it was running and died. He went to go start it and he had a hard time starting it. So that was his opinion of it. May be true, may not be. But I figure we'll get her up on the lift, we'll get into it and see if we can fix it. Let the fixing begin. Alright, so this thing has a liquid-cooled 2-cylinder engine in it. The timing belt is in the back side of it. I do believe we're probably going to have to remove the engine if we find that it is broken, or even to get that cover back far enough. I'm not sure. Looks like he's already been into the battery and had that kind of removed. I also see a weird, not sure what's going on here with these wing nuts, and there's another one hanging out of the other side. Possibly maybe the battery's no good and he was jumping it with a jumper pack to start it. Here's another half on this end. So I'm going to pop the air cleaner off. We'll get rid of the hood. Looks like it's got just 2 screws on the bottom and the wire. We'll get that out of our way. Get the battery out of our way. We'll start digging in, and then I'll bring you back when we can start actually doing some troubleshooting. That's a little better. I think the chances are that battery has anything in it. Yeah, stone dead. Yeah, I bet you that's what they're probably doing. They probably didn't want to put a battery in it and just starting with a jumper pack from the outside. I'm going to throw that on the charger just for shits and giggles, see if it comes back, but I'm not giving it much hope. So I wanted to take a jumper pack and hook it up and give it a spin. Just confirm what his suspicions were and kind of listen to it and come up with our own judgment. So I'm over here on this side of the battery and I do not see a terminal that would have went to the positive side of the battery at all, unless there was something that was on there that broke off, but it's physically not even there. Again, it has this one. This is the ground side of things. You follow that down, it runs down to the frame, but I do not see anything on the hot side other than here. So we're going to open that up. We'll put the jumper pack. I thought that was the end of the terminal. Looks like somebody ran some solder around that. Yeah, we're going to use that for the jumper pack, and we'll put it on there and see if we crank it over what it sounds like. I have the brake lock down with the vice grips, but we may have to get around the seat safety for it to crank. I'm not sure. Worst case, we'll just we'll put power right to the starter. Let's see if this draws anything. All right. Shall we? Fuel pump. What do you want to do? Think about throw a compression tester in there, see if we get anything. Actually, we have 2 of the 4 bolts of the valve cover off. When we get the rest of the way off, and we'll look and see if there's anything when we spin it. Get that crap out of the corners first. Noise alert, sorry. All right. Yeah, just see if the valves are just moving. Get in, kind of cycle back further. I want to break the gasket. There we go. Yeah, let's go see if that camshaft spins, huh? It's spinning, so it didn't break anything big time. Yeah, let's go get the plug out of it. We'll throw a compression tester in it and we'll look at it, see what we get. Let's just start with the old finger in the hole trick. Nah, that feels really weird. Yeah, neither one is pushing my hand off. So it definitely has an issue as far as I would say timing also. I think his first assessment is correct. If we can, we know the belt's not broken because the cam is still spinning. So we know that is, you know, it didn't totally snap the belt. Possibly what happened, it either got a bunch of grass inside the cover or there's a mouse nest inside there. When he went to go start it up, that made it go jump time where it won't run right. So I'm going to take some of the stuff off of here, see if we can at least pull this cover away far enough, and possibly maybe we can get in there and manipulate it and get the belt back into time without having to drain the cooling system, pull the engine, do all that kind of stuff. So wish me well. Oh, and I'm sure there's unanswered questions. When I had my finger over there, it was pulling my finger in. It should be with a pop, trying to pop your finger off the hole. But instead, you can actually feel like a vacuum trying to draw it in, and that wasn't correct. That's how I knew there's already something wrong without even bothering going to a compression tester, because it's just not going to show anything. There's nothing there. I believe I have most of the screws out. I just had the belt cover back on and put a couple screws in to keep dirt out of the top end. Let's see if we can at least get in there. It has a lot of crap in there. There is a huge nest in there. That's exactly what happened. You guys see it? Yeah. That might be a problem. Yeah. So that's exactly what went on. It had a bunch of material, got down inside there, went around the pulleys, made the pulley jump, and knocked it out of time. So I'm going to go down there with a little vacuum cleaner job and see if we can get some of that cleaned out of there. I wonder what's holding this up and going back further. The battery tray. Of course they welded the battery tray in. That unbolted, we could probably pull it straight back enough. As long as the belt's not broke, you could probably deal with it right in there. Or, you know, badly worn. See what we see on this side. Yeah. What's happening with the drive shaft? That's what I'm looking at now, down in that area around the drive shaft. Does that hold the cover up or not? Or is it just the battery tray? Alright, well I'm going to work on getting some of that material out of there, and then we'll bring you back and see what we come up with for a solution. Alright, executive decision. I think we should go from there, that's a nice straight line, ain't it, to about there. We want to straighten that up a little bit with the plasma cutter. We just cut that right off, and then we make it so that it either bolts back together or we could tack it back on, and see if that gives us enough room to do what we need to do. And if that's the case, awesome. If not, I suck. Watch your eyes. Going in. What a mess, huh? Hack. Think we're in? Ha! We're in now. Yeah, see if that did anything for us. For room. So I worked on trying to wiggle that cover loose a little bit, and what I found was the dry shaft was not letting it go back any further, but there's another cover that we can remove. So I got 2 of the screws out so far. See if we can get those last 2 out, and then that should allow us to get that cover to shift much further back. It'd be pretty much open, it looks like. Alright, so the lower section's open now. Let's see if we can get that whole thing to kick back. There we go. Now you scream if a mouse comes running out of there. So the coil pack is right here too, so a lot of that's probably going to be that part of it. I am now going to go and clean some of that nest out of there and see what we have. Unless you guys want to do it. Any volunteers? No, huh? Might not even be a mouse nest. I think it's just debris that got kicked up in there. Yeah, definitely. So let's... Yeah, it's definitely packed. Hard to say. I'll tell you, I won't be licking it. How's that? Vacuum. That's pretty much cleaned out of there. Let's grab the fan and rotate that belt and get an idea what stuff looks like. That's looking pretty chewed. I don't know if that could be mice. Could be mice or probably. You guys got a better view of it than I do. I'm gonna get my fat head in the way. I should probably hit it. I know I'm a mile off, but we know if that comes around again, we looked at the whole thing, right? I also got to kind of look and see if make sure there's no teeth got tore off of it. And it looks like the chewed spot that we saw. This is a non-interference engine, meaning that even if the belt breaks and the valves, yeah, so we get that one chewed spot. There's a mark again. Even if the belt completely breaks, it's not going to do damage to the engine. It's just going to break the belt. So I'm not that really concerned with the condition of the belt that we just saw, as long as there's no teeth missing, because even if it does break, it's not going to do any more damage. So it's not like we're, you know, pushing our luck with it. I think I'm going to take and maybe put the jumper pack back on it, crank it with a key, hit it with an air gun, and try to blow all the crap that is still sticking out of the little veins that are on there. What do you think? Okay, that's what we'll do. So I went and I looked up on the computer just for the timing marks where they would be, and there's going to be, should be 2 opposing each other with a T on it on the camshaft gear, and then it's going to be hard for you to see, but right around the corner in here there is a mark on the engine tin that you would put that for top dead center. And then down below on the crankshaft, which is half the diameter of this, there's another one facing pretty much up, almost in the same direction. But we are not going to be able to get to that stuff unless you remove the pretty much everything off the front of it. The flywheel would have to come off, coil's got to come off, flywheel's got to come off, cover's got to come off, and it uses the water pump for the tensioner. The water pump rocks back and forth on a pivot, and that's what you adjust the tension on the belt with when you are all done. Unfortunately, and you can kind of see the one right in the center of your screen, right down there, that one. That's one of them. There's 2 right there, and one on the top, and I think a third one from the outside, or 4th one from the outside, that you have to loosen to be able to get that pump to rotate. So I don't think we are going to be able to do that. And I definitely think that sucker is going to be too tight for us to try to squeeze it off and squeeze it back on. But I think what we can do Maybe we'll shove a screwdriver in the hole, see if we could find top dead center. We should be able to do that. Yeah. We'll bring it up to top dead center that way, and maybe we'll make a mark externally somewhere else or out on here, and then we'll see where the mark lines up on the camshaft and see how far it is off, and possibly we can kind of give it a shot. Again, I just wanted to make sure that everything is okay on this machine before we go through the trouble of pulling the engine, buying a belt, putting it on, and we go through all that and find out that, the engine's got a knock to it, or the hydro is no good. We're wasting a lot of time on nothing, although I'm apparently wasting time right now by not just pulling the engine. That's the direction we're going to go. And one other thing I just want to add to as a comment is that guys asked me, why don't you get a manual when you're starting on these right away and just kind of zero right in on it. The reason is because I'm trying to do a video and I'm trying to have fun and show how to troubleshoot things that you don't know anything about, and get an education as far as if you had to, what would you do to go fix it? It just makes for a better video instead of me just looking up something in a book and going, okay, we do this step, and that's how it goes. I just find it, again, makes for a better video. Right. Let me get that underway and see how we make out. All right, I'm all masked up. First, let's go do what we were going to do before, which was hit it with an air gun and crank it over. Leak some oil out of there. All right, now we got her. We go find top dead center. Let's see what we can do. I think both of them go up and down together at the same time, both pistons, but one is on the fire stroke and one's on the compression. One's on the exhaust clearing, the other one is on the compression stroke, vice versa. So valves are open on one, valves are not open on the other. I can actually physically see the piston. But I'm going to see. Right about. I'm just feeling for the very top of the stroke of the piston. It's coming all the way up to the top and starting to drop down a little bit. So I'm going to call it right there. So we should have, and we don't. I'm going to go paint the marks a little bit, and then you can see it. Okay, so now you can see where the T's are. They're marked on the pulley. And right down about here is where one of them should be, because there's a timing mark right there. So we are literally, you couldn't get much further out than what it is there. It is, what is that going to be, 180? According to which pulley you're looking at. So we'll call it probably about 180 degrees off from where it needs to be, and that would definitely open the valves at the wrong time and cause it not to have any compression and have the issues that it does have. I know it needs to be done. I think maybe just for shits and giggles though, why don't we try, see if we can get the belt to slip off, rotate it where we want, and see if we can possibly get it to go back on there. I don't know. We'll give it a shot, right? Why not? I'll show you something on the other side. Let's go pull that one off. That cog is completely filled with like that white powder and then that going around it. So that was definitely causing a problem on that one. Gonna get that cleaned off of there. Get the belt the rest of the way off. We want to definitely go clean those teeth off of that stuff. Yeah, that needs to be more about right there. Let's go get some cleaning done. I might take a wire wheel, a small wire wheel, see if you can get all the crap that's off embedded in there out of there. Yeah, even on the camshaft side of things, you can see how packed into the teeth they were as I'm going to clean them out. You know, they each have some of their so I'm going to run with that. I'm going to do the same on the water pump. And I could see the crankshaft pulley. And the crankshaft pulley has half of what the camshaft has. So if this has 40 teeth on it, the crank will have, you know, 20. That's just a guess. But I could see it, so hopefully I can get back down in there and kind of do the same thing with a long screwdriver and clean the little crap that's packed inside them. And if we do get a bunch of it, one thing that will happen, will give us a little bit more play to try to get the belt on. You know, we'll have a little bit more room to work with. So I'm going to continue doing that. Alright, with the aid of a bunch of different wire wheels with different setups on them, we have everything pretty much cleaned up decently. The kind of manipulated this cover, can you tell? No, it doesn't show it all right. Penned it back a little bit so we can get a wire wheel in there and with this motion cleaning it. And on the crankshaft on the other side, I was able to get down all the way in there and get in with a little screwdriver and scrape the cogs clear down there. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get it in camera. I got the belt back into position. Yeah, you can see it kind of. Well, do you really care this much? And right. Hoping you can see it. Anyway, it is right under that wire. That wire. Yes. This is where I do editing. Anyway, it's down there, and what's good about it is on each cog. Well, first there's a thrust washer, I'm going to call it, for the belt that's on this side, or thrust flange. But right on the end of each side of it, there's a hole actually in the pulley, so debris can actually get pushed out of the holes that are in there instead of just kind of getting gummed up. But 90% of the fins were packed solid right up to the top with crap. So we got them all cleaned out. Water pump has an aluminum toothed, and you can see the wear. That's not cleaned that one up too, but you can see there's some wear in the aluminum wearing down. But this isn't particular. This isn't really keyed to anything. That's just gears to go drive that. But if it slipped on that a tooth or two, it doesn't make any difference on that one. That's just a tensioner and a pump that just spins all the time. So I put some marks. The crank's on top to the center. You can see I put them. It's supposed to be red, but it's coming out pink. Don't judge. And I did the same on the camshaft. On the cover, you know, you got one lower right there, and then up on the cover, so that'll be top dead center on the cover. I'm going to do my best to try to get all of that squeezed back into place and possibly back on again. And it's going to be a fight, but I'm up for it. Part of me wants to spray silicone on it. Let's see if we're even in the... You can see more. That was like really too easy. Bet you were really loose. Nah, not too bad. Good. You know what that means, don't you? Needs the belt on. Now we can probably do a compression test on it now. I tightened those 2 screws on the valve cover down a little bit, keep them from pissing. Let's just give her a crank. We need ground. Let's give her a crank and watch the belt and see how it is. Hopefully nothing's gonna get sucked up. I don't think so. We'll bump it real quick. There we go. Let's go see if I can move that back. Just gonna step over there. Thanks. Let's see if actually it was supposed to be like that. Yep. I'm gonna go look at my other ones. Yeah, looks pretty good. Got a little bit of debris in there. Like a piece of something. I'll dig that out. Yeah, we're lined up. Alright, let's go see if we got compression. Sure want to push my fingers off. There we go. Try the other one. That's what we're looking for. I'm gonna go grab a gauge just for the hell of it and see if we get some numbers on it. I have the carb choke off, throttle all the way open so I can get some air in it. Let's go see what we got. $125-ish. Which is fine. Start getting below 100. You're gonna have issues running. Some engines have decompression valves in them though, so it'll screw you up. You'll get 60 psi. What's wrong with this thing? Meanwhile, it's got a decompression valve. Let's go see what this one gets. It looks like 115-ish. Yeah, 125. Yeah, 115, right around there. And they'll probably come up when this thing runs for a while, but I'm happy with that. I'm gonna try to start it. All right, do you want to put a little gas down the carb? You're going to try running it just right on the what's in it. See if it'll go on its own. We all the way up on choke. All right, well, we'll try it on its own. Yeah, there's oil in it. Thanks, I checked it. All right, let's go and might not have spark though because of the seat safety. I brought the idle down real fast because I didn't want it to rev. And what I'll do, I'll choke it by hand. Good. I'm gonna go shut it off before the cover gets chewed up. All right. I think we're fine. Let me get a couple of screws in that cover just to hold it into place so it's not rattling around in there and getting chewed up by the flywheel. And I think it's spit out whatever it's gonna spit out. I may throw it a air gun through it one more time, but I think we're pretty decent. All right. All right, how cool is that? I'm gonna have to run, got the cover back kind of in place. And we might be able to run it a little bit more. Not worried about it chewing up its gizzards, right? Let's go and see if it'll go to idle. Yeah, we may want to tie that up out of harm's way too, huh? Let's looks like a good place for a tie wrap. That's a little better. Let's fire it back up again. What a quiet little engine, huh? I don't know how old that gas is either. Well, I'm gonna let that run for about 5 minutes or so, make sure that everything's okay, and we'll get back into doing some reassembly. Fire up the deck and see if it goes back and forth too. That's over there idling away. Let's go check on the battery, see if it's coming back at all. Yeah, taking some bit of a charge. Good. Probably let that go overnight. Turn off the battery pack, but we could check the charging system. Looks good. Give it a couple of RPMs. Been a little bit of something, might be oil, that cover not being screwed down all the way. See some dots. See anything? I had that off, the dribbles from me. Yeah, I think it's just oil coming out of that valve cover. Alright, I'm gonna go put a bunch of stuff back together and see how the trans and stuff works. I think we're good here. I think we look fairly decent. The belt, you know, it could use a belt. The biggest part that concerns me is just where the mice kind of chewed into the side of it a little bit. All the teeth look fine, but again, if the belt breaks, slips, whatever, it's a non-interference engine, so it's not like it's going to hurt anything with the engine. It'll need a belt at that time. So I think I'm probably just going to move forward, leaving that well enough alone. I think that'll run an awful long time like that. But first, let's see what the compression did. See if it came up at all. And we went just off a choke. There we go. All right. It looks about the same. And number 2. Again, about the same. 120. What we got? 125 earlier. Well, sure. Now I see what the clip is. Son of a. All right. Why don't we go and hit the undo button on that. Yeah, that should do it. Like it never happened. I was gonna run out of paint. Except for that burn hole in the middle. We'll call that a moisture relief hole. How's that? I'm good. Well, minus the hood and a clip here or two, I think we're all set to give her a whirl. Battery's still charging. We're just gonna leave that out. We're running on the battery pack. We should be. Let's go to choke. Nice. That should go to idle on its own. That might need a little bit of love. A broken screw right there. So we drop the table down and hop up and see how things operate. Well, I sure am happy with that. That worked out quite well. I still got more to do. You should really get a proper kind of tune and all, but everything mechanical seems fine. I'm gonna go cut my grass with it tomorrow with the hood still off, and plop the battery and see if all that stuff works okay. Charge system seems fine. Doesn't overheat. Cool. No leaks. The trans seems good. So I think we're gonna rock and roll other than the battery. So guys, I think I'm gonna go shut this one down about now. Got a fairly long video going, and if I feel like doing another video on it, or there's enough to do another video on it, maybe going servicing it a little more, or if after I run it and I notice that it has any other issues, we'll double back on this one and make another video. But happy with that. We were able to go squeeze that belt on there. I didn't think that was going to happen. It's definitely worth a try. So if you guys like this kind of thing and like wrenching in the garage with me, if you would just do me a favor and give me a thumbs up and a comment if you would. It really helps out the videos, how they get seen. So with that, guys, I'm gonna go clean up, go have myself some dinner, and tomorrow I'll cut a little bit of grass with it and see how that part is. So until then, I will see you later.